Well. So heading into the must-win Eden-Monaro by-election next weekend and the Queensland state election in October, with coal and mining seats starting to tighten up in the political race, Opposition Leader Anthony Albanese announced today in a speech in Canberra that he wants to end the climate wars and be bipartisan with the government on energy policy. Come on. And all the sops in the Canberra Press Gallery, they lapped it up. And I can tell you they're a big part of the problem with politics in this country. Just because he says he wants to end the climate wars doesn't mean he agrees with the government on climate change. Indeed, Albanese spent much of the start of his speech today mocking government MPs who stand up to the zealots when it comes to supporting blue-collar jobs and dealing with the Paris Agreement. It does my head in when Labor abused the coalition for taking a pro-job, pro-economic position on this global issue and claim the government is standing in the way of community opinion when election after election shows you exactly where the Australian people are on this issue. Now look, there's been 2 elections fought largely on the issues of emissions reduction and energy policy. 2013, Tony Abbott pledged to scrap the carbon tax and end Labor's emissions obsession, and he won in a landslide. 2019, this is where Bill Shorten refused to cost Labor's 45% emissions reduction promise or its 50% renewable energy target, and he lost the unlosable election there, didn't he? For all the out-of-touch pundits who claim that the coalition is weak on climate change, the undisputed reality is that the coalition is focused on the performance rather than the promises of other countries overseas, and they're on the side of the voters here at home. So is Labor calling the voter stupid here, not just coalition backbenchers? Because if they are, it's a timely warning. Be very, very careful. It wasn't that long ago that another Labor leader lied her way into the top job.
There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
We all know what happened to her, didn't we? Now, say what you like about Albanese, but he's a cunning politician who knows that he's just got one shot left at becoming Prime Minister, given Shorten has not yet left the Parliament. So he's prepared to say or do whatever's required to get him there. And it would be a very different government, like Gillard was, if he gets into power. Because what he's offering the coalition is not support for the coalition's policies, but support for a climate and energy policy mechanism that could then be adjusted up and up and up by a future Labor Party if government. Albanese opposes the government's emissions reduction fund that's helping farmers reduce their emissions by planting more trees and using organic fertilisers. He's demanding more funding for green schemes that the coalition was elected originally to abolish, but that Labor blocked in the Senate. He's against nuclear energy, even though we all know that's the only proven form of emissions-free baseload power that's suitable for Australia. On coal, he's as weak as water, saying today that any definitive decision on the role of coal in the Australian economy would be made at the end of the year at Labor's national conference in December. That's right, December. Well after next weekend's by-election and months after Queenslanders go to vote in that must-win state election for Labor. They must think we are stupid. You know, I know, under Labor, you can be absolutely certain there'll be no new coal or gas-fired baseload power. There'll be no new coal or gas extraction either. Under Labor, power prices will go up once more through the roof and manufacturing jobs will again head overseas. And surely COVID's taught us something, that we need more manufacturing here in Australia, not less. And even in the speech today, Labor still maintaining the zero net emissions by 2050 policy they need for green preferences and to avoid trouble in inner city seats that love that climate virtue signalling. Nevertheless, this Albanese ploy poses some challenges for the coalition. You watch. There'll be plenty of big companies and the union super funds on their backs that will rush to agree that we need energy certainty. We need energy certainty, you've heard that line. And they'll urge the government to sit down with Labor and negotiate some kind of grand bargain. Now, that'd be dreadful. First, because it will remove a key difference between the government and the opposition, and successful politics means prosecuting the differences, not stressing points of agreement. And second, moving this way with Labor would make securing a sensible energy policy for Australia's future all but impossible. Time spent talking to Labor about a rational pro-job energy policy is time wasted towards getting us back to a pro-baseload grid that delivers on price and reliability. Now, later on tonight, I'll be talking to the National Senator Matt Canavan. As I said, he's a former minister who knows more about energy policy than anyone else. I'll see what he thinks about Labor's energy Trojan horse. But Albo, I'm not fooled, and I doubt anyone else who knows anything about this issue is either.